Most men do not lose themselves in love. They surrender themselves in fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being desired. Fear of being replaced. And in that fear, they begin negotiating their standards, softening their convictions, reshaping their identity to maintain affection. What they call romance is often dependence disguised as devotion. But there is another way to stand in relationship, with presence, with strength, with calm authority over one's own inner world. Not cold, not cruel, not detached from feeling, but governed from within. The man no woman can control is not immune to love. He is immune to manipulation because his center does not sit in her hands. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That line is not poetry, it is instruction. If our peace depends on her moods, her validation, her attention, then our mind is not our own. We are tenants in our own body, and we feel that weakness in subtle ways. Jealousy, overthinking, checking the phone, replaying conversations in our head at 2 a.m. We do not conquer women. We conquer the part of ourselves that begs to be conquered, and that begins each morning. 1. We master the first hour. Before the world wakes up, before messages arrive, before her name flashes across the screen, we face ourselves. The first battle is internal. If we cannot sit with our own thoughts without reaching for distraction, then we are already governed by impulse. Each morning, we remind ourselves, nothing external is guaranteed. Not loyalty, not admiration, not permanence. Seneca warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So we train our imagination. We rehearse loss, not to become pessimists, but to become unshakable. If she left tomorrow, who would we be? If affection cooled, would we collapse? The man who cannot envision standing alone will cling when he should stand firm. In the quiet of early hours, we sharpen our discipline. Cold water on the face, structured thought, intentional movement. No frantic scrolling, no craving validation before the day even begins. The body learns what the mind teaches it. We do not reach outward for stability. We build it inward. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when we distinguish what is within our control and what is not. Her emotions are not. Her choices are not. Our character is. And so the first hour belongs to us, not to romance, not to desire, not to anxiety. To us. When we own the first hour, we begin owning ourselves. 2. We refuse emotional reactivity. Control begins where reaction ends. Most manipulation does not look like domination. It looks like subtle provocation, a delayed reply, a tone shift, a test disguised as curiosity. The reactive man lunges. He overexplains, he defends, he chases clarity. He tries to fix tension immediately because discomfort terrifies him. But we train ourselves to pause. Between stimulus and response lies a narrow space. In that space lives our power. Viktor Frankl described this space as the birthplace of freedom. We cultivate that pause deliberately. When a message stings, we breathe. When jealousy whispers, we question it. When insecurity rises, we observe it rather than obey it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." So we interrogate our estimates. Is her silence truly rejection? Is her independence truly threat? Or is our ego demanding reassurance? The man who reacts instantly can be steered instantly. So we slow down. We speak measured words. We do not argue to win. We respond to remain aligned with our own values. Calmness is not passivity. It is control over the flame before it becomes wildfire. When she sees that our emotional state does not swing with every breeze, something shifts. Not because we seek power over her, but because we have reclaimed power over ourselves. 3. We anchor. Identity and purpose, not approval. A man without purpose will orbit around affection. When his sense of worth depends on how desired he feels, he becomes negotiable. He compromises boundaries to preserve attention. He reshapes opinions to avoid conflict. He abandons ambitions to avoid threatening her comfort. But we wake each day with direction beyond romance. Seneca wrote that if a man does not know which port he is sailing to, no wind is favorable. Our port is virtue, excellence, craft, mission, physical discipline, intellectual growth, service. Whatever path we walk, it must be larger than attraction. This does not mean we love less. It means we kneel before nothing except principle. When our schedule, our training, our study, our work hold weight in our life, we cannot be easily destabilized by relational turbulence. We do not cancel growth for temporary harmony. We do not shrink ourselves to appear less intimidating. We do not dim competence to protect fragile egos. The man no woman can control is the man who cannot be distracted from his becoming. Approval becomes pleasant, but unnecessary. 4. We make peace with loss. Attachment is not weakness. Clinging is. Fear of loss is the invisible chain. It makes us overinvest too early. It makes us tolerate disrespect. It makes us ignore red flags because starting over feels unbearable. So we train the mind to accept impermanence. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that everything changes, dissolves, ends. Relationships are no exception. We love fully, but we remember that nothing is owned, not even affection, especially not affection. When we accept that she may leave, we stop acting from desperation. We stop trying to secure permanence through control. We stop reading into every fluctuation as if it threatens survival. There is a strange freedom in contemplating loss. It sharpens appreciation without breeding dependency. Epictetus advised, "When you kiss your child, remember that they are mortal, not to darken love, but to purify it." The same applies here. When we love while acknowledging transience, we hold with open hands, and open hands cannot be twisted. 5. We govern desire instead of being governed by it. Desire is powerful. Physical attraction, emotional longing, the thrill of connection. These forces can cloud judgment faster than anger ever could. Most men believe they are rational until desire speaks. So we practice restraint, not repression. Restraint. We delay gratification. We do not rush intimacy to secure attachment. We do not overcommit to fantasy. We separate chemistry from character. We observe patterns before investing identity. Seneca warned that slavery to pleasure is the most degrading form of bondage because it feels voluntary. When desire governs us, we rationalize weakness. We excuse red flags. We ignore misalignment. But we train ourselves to ask, does this align with our values? Does this relationship elevate or erode discipline? Are we drawn by virtue or by ego? The man who governs desire stands steady in temptation, and steadiness is unshakable. 6. We cultivate inner sufficiency. At the deepest level, control only works on those who believe they are incomplete. If we secretly believe we need her to feel whole, then every disagreement becomes existential. Every withdrawal becomes threat. Every comparison becomes wound. So we build sufficiency. We learn to enjoy solitude, to sit in silence without craving noise, to improve our body not to impress but to respect it, to refine our speech not to charm, but to express truth cleanly. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he had everything necessary within. We adopt the same stance. We are not halves searching for completion. We are whole beings capable of partnership. When a man feels whole, he does not chase, he chooses. And choice is power. We walk beside her, not beneath her approval, not above her humanity, but beside her with grounded presence. If she stays, we welcome it. If she leaves, we endure it. If she tests, we remain calm. If she respects, we reciprocate. This is not dominance over women. It is sovereignty over self. And when we live this way morning after morning, choice after choice, we become something rare. A man whose peace cannot be bartered. A man whose values cannot be negotiated. a man who loves without losing himself. And that is a freedom no one can control.